Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. And today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week. Just knocked over a few things, but there's nothing wrong with that. This is the first week of the month, so it's usually my smallest week, but we do have some goodies in here. In addition to that, I will also do the question and answers. And what I'm thinking about trying to do is throw in just responding to your comments in this video too. We'll see how that works. Got some news, got some updates. We'll get into all that. Should be a fun ride. And we might as well start where we always start, with a little bit of Batman in our life. With Detective Comics issue number 18. Um, don't let the cover deceive you. This has very little of Batman brooding about Damian in it. There's only really one scene where he goes to a gravestone. That's about it. Basically, John Layman is continuing the story of the Emperor Penguin, which is basically Penguin gets dethroned by one of his lackeys, and that lackey calls himself the Emperor Penguin. I can't pronounce the lackey's name. It begins with an O, and I'm not even going to bother. Um, and basically, this is more of the Penguin story than Batman's story, about really the downfall of the Penguin. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. The dialogue was really nice in here, especially when the moment it clicks for the Penguin when he finds out that he got kicked out. I really do like the Emperor Penguin as a villain. I like how he's been slowly developing over the past few issues, really establishing himself as kind of a badass. Has a nice personality to him and a good look. Mr. Zaz shows up, his new 52 debut in here, and I'm not disappointed. I do like the Mr. Zaz here. A little bit more human than the previous Zaz, but he's still pretty screwed up and crazy. Bad. Oh, and another good. The art, Jason Fadbach, uh, Fabok. Is that how you pronounce it? Fabok. You guys can correct me, as you guys always do. Art is beautiful. Art is beautiful. The only bad I could say is that the cover is a bit deceiving. There's very little of the requiem for Robin in this. Nor should there be. I kind of like Detective Comics separate from everything else and doing its own thing. And what I really do like as Detective Comics doing that, at least since John jumped on, is that it's taking these characters and it's rolling with it. It feels like these long stories that are just building upon each other more and more so. On a whole, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. The only thing that hurts it is just the fact that, again, deception. Covers are important, people. Don't deceive us. Don't deceive us. Moving on, we have Batwing issue number 18. So this is basically like the fall of Batwing. He gets his job, basically, everyone on his job wants to kill him. But he pretty much gets suspended with pay, which isn't bad. Um, his best friend is burnt alive. Trust me, he's still alive. Small little spoiler. And Batwing is being betrayed left and right. Uh, Basically, I mean, it's very subtle, but this is a big turning point for Batwing as a character because this is a big change in his life. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. The art is beautiful in this. I really do like the art. And Dawn as a character has really grown on me, and I want to see more of her. I think she's a great supporting character and even kind of a nemesis to Batwing when it needs to be. They both kind of came from the same roots, for lack of a better term, but they both taken different paths. Uh, and I do like how Batwing, David as a character, is starting to become more and more lively with who he is. Bad? I can't say there's much bad about this. It's a good issue. I will give it a 4 out of 5. Batwing continues to be a solid title. Moving on to G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, issue number 188. So this jumps into a new story, and by golly, Scarlet is actually on the field. Yeah, one of the things that I did have to complain about recent issues is we've been using a lot of the C-listers on the G.I. Joe team, which I don't mind, because a lot of them are great C-listers. Not C-listers, B-listers probably. But like, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, they haven't been around, and Scarlet and Duke have just been sitting in that command center for like ever. Since like issue like, I don't know, 170 something. But anyways, basically there is a ship in, what's her name? Oh. It escapes me. Um, the woman from the original first issue, Burkhart. Dr. Burkhart is once again captured. Once again captured. This woman is getting captured all the time. Well, anyways, the bad guys call in for a little extra help from a mysterious ally, and the GI Joes have to go up against them. Um, who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose? Gonna have to read and see. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good action here. The bad guys, the real bad guys, really do like them. They are very well motivated to the point that they're willing to blow themselves up if they have to. The art is good in this, and the dialogue for the most part is nice. And I do like the nods to, and you're gonna get it because Larry Hama is writing it and he wrote it beforehand. But I do like the nods to the original series too. Uh, Bad, the story just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's not led into at all. It just happens. And in addition to that, I kind of want Cobra around, there's no epicness to this feel. It just feels like a general story, and I don't know. I wanted to spice things up again. On the whole, this is a solid issue. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Enjoyable. I think people will like it if you're a GI Joe fan. Moving on to Swamp Thing, issue number 18, the end of Rot World, for the most part. Well, the end of Scott Snyder's run. Basically, so when Animal Man and Scott Snyder, Animal Man and Swamp Thing were sent to Rot World, they were actually sent in the future. They go back in time, and now they're trying to prevent all the bad stuff from happening. Abigail Arkham and Swamp Thing both come to a conclusion of what needs to be done. And it is a sad conclusion, but a conclusion in order to defeat Arcane. Um, Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Some beautiful character moments, especially towards the end, but in the beginning too. Really defining moments, I think, for the lives of Swamp Thing and Abigail. Uh, like I said, there's just some stellar moments, and there's subtle ones, and I don't want to spoil anything. But at the end of the comic, you get to see that. Some good fights toward the end. We finally get a showdown. In addition to that, I like how it all wraps together. It comes together almost perfectly. Rot World did last a long time, but this issue alone, bringing it all together, it works out so well. And it kind of sets the tone for um, what the comic is going to be about. So, bad zilch. This Scott Snyder is best, just showing us that Swamp Thing is a great comic and a great character. I'm very interested to see where the comic's going to go under new writing, and I'm interested. I really am. But 5 out of 5. This is a stellar issue. On to another Rot World issue, and that will be Animal Man. This is the most tragic day in the life of Buddy Baker. So you do know that someone's going to die. I'm not going to reveal who, but someone does. Animal Man comes back to save his daughter and his wife and his family, and some weird stuff happens with the Hunter Threes. But basically, he goes back to save his children and his wife, and shit goes down, and someone other than Buddy Baker does not make it out alive. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. Um, I'm kind of interested to see why they killed who they killed. Jeff Lemire killed who he killed, and I'm kind of happy because if you went one way, it would have been too obvious. If you went the other way, it would have been really sad. Still sad what happens here, but it kind of makes for interesting story. Great fight scene, some great art, and again, nice closure to the comic. Bad, none. Like Swamp Thing, this ends things off on a good note, and a good note is what we need. 5 out of 5. Really interested to see where Jeff takes this comic afterwards, especially with the climactic ending. Moving on, random comic this week, Phantom Stranger, issue number 6. Yeah, I haven't reviewed Phantom Stranger since issue number 1. I picked up issues number 2 through 5 and read them while my oil was getting changed for my car. And I did it just because I wanted to give a comic a chance. And surprisingly, it's really hooking me. I'm digging Phantom Stranger a lot, and it's fun. It's just so different than all the other comics. Basically, in this, if you haven't read the comic recently, Phantom Stranger has a family, and his family is missing, and he's trying to find out who took his family. So he goes to the children of Trigon, or at least the sons of Trigon, which are great characters. And he basically plays a game of luck. They play blackjack with each other. And while this is going on, they basically have a discussion about moral compass and what needs to be done and all that kind of fun stuff that good and evil will have their little pleasantries with. Uh, Good. I really do like Trigon's sons, particularly the eldest son, the one that stays in the game the longest. I like how they interact. I like how some of them are polite, some of them are just absolutely bonkers. Um, I just think that they're great characters that should be established in the DCU, and I would like to see more of them. A lot of recurring characters too in this, and I like that. We're setting up a supporting cast and recurring characters. That's important in a new comic. Phantom Stranger, I like how he's not boring. The guy has motivation. The guy has emotion. He has feeling, and he's really kind of put himself into a shitty situation for something good. So, in that he has a family now, but he'll a part of him will never be safe because that family can always be targeted. And I like what's going on in the background. Bad? None. I think this has been one of the best issues of Phantom Stranger thus far. And while you may not be a fan of Phantom Stranger, I think this would be a nice issue to pick up. Sure, I don't. It can kind of be a jumping on point in a way. I'd recommend getting maybe the previous issue and then read this. But if you're interested in Phantom Stranger, it's only 5 issues, 6 issues in plus an issue 0. I would say pick it up. The previous issue also had the Spectre, which was a nice fight. Spectre looks badass in his new costume. No underwear, my friends. Looks badass. Yeah, you know what? 5 out of 5. Phantom Stranger, really fun this week. And I think I will continue to pick this up on the side. I may not review it every time it comes around, but shit, it's impressing me. On to Anime Con Girls issue number 1. So we're no longer doing the shorts. We're going into an all new series, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue with this series. That doesn't mean it's necessarily bad or good. I'm just saying, I mean, how long is this going to last? Um, Basically, it is the women of the DC universe versus Brainiac. Um, and that's it. It's the women of the DC universe versus Brainiac. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. I like the interactions with all the characters in this. The art is very nice. I particularly like the coloring done with the art. All the different shades that are done, really nicely done. Like I said with the previous issue that was Supergirls, is that it feels like anime art, which it should because it's based off the Anime Con Girl figures. So the art is good. Uh, Bickering is also nice too. Bad. Just feels a little too much status quo with Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray. I really want these guys to kind of throw me for a loop. Maybe next issue, like Brainiac turns out to be like I don't know Madonna. I don't know. Throw me for a loop. It's just this issue was a little too status quo, uh, so I didn't like that. And second of all is I felt as though Wonder Woman, although her dialogue was fun, kind of came off as a little bit of an idiot. Just a little bit. Besides that, 3 out of 5, decent issue. I will at least stick around for the next issue. We'll see if I stick around for anywhere longer. It also depends on what week it's in, because if it's always going to be in week 1, I'll have the extra cash to pick it up. So we'll see. Moving on to Green Lantern issue number 18, Wrath of the First Lantern Part 5. Wow. Yeah, already on Part 5, and it's only been like a month. Basically, this is Hal Jordan, Baz, and Sinestro all kind of interacting with each other, and only 2 of them making it out of the dead zone. Who it's going to be, I do not want to spoil, but it's kind of obvious if you've been reading Green Lantern thus far, and everyone's hell bent on going after the First Lantern. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good, I do like the transition that they did between artists. The Dead Zone having a little bit more of a grittier feel to it with a different artist, where the regular Green Lantern stuff is, the traditional artists that we've had thus far. The dialogue and the bickering between everyone is very nice. I like the fight between Hal and Sinestro just to get a hold of the ring because one of them wants to get out. And the conclusion leaves us hanging and definitely ties into previous stuff. Bad, not really. I don't know if I would give it a 5 out of 5. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. It didn't wow me, but it was a great issue. So it definitely gets that. Uh, Not to spoil anything at all, but I won't spoil anything. Moving on. Hell on Earth's conclusion with Superman issue number 17. This was actually pushed back a week. Action Comics didn't come out this week. Basically, this is the conclusion. Superman, Wonder Woman, Superboy, Supergirl versus Hell. In a climactic fight for the fate of the world and on Krypton. Of course, Batman, Flash, and Cyborg kind of doing their stuff on the side, saving lives. And it's basically that is a conclusion to the Hell on Earth story. Good. It's just that it wraps up the story and it wraps it up pretty nicely, at least in the sense of a final fight. I like how it ends and who is the true hero of this book. I do like how everyone interacts with each other. The art was good, and the fight scenes that were in here were good, and the pacing was very nice. Bad is that this guy right here, the Oracle, really did nothing for this comic and was kind of a waste of space. Yeah, it's foreshadowing, but it's just that. It's foreshadowing. One moment, please. So, like I said, the Oracle there is just kind of foreshadowing, so he really doesn't serve purpose to the story. I checked the solicits. This really needs an epilogue. A last issue I know has been going on for a long time, people, but it does need a last issue to just tie all the character interactions together. Who knows? Maybe the next issue will do that, but it doesn't look like it will because the Hive shows up in the next issue. So we'll see. We'll see. On a whole, despite its clear faults in it. Not clear faults. Despite those two faults, the Oracle serving no purpose and it needing an epilogue and is not getting it, this was still on its own a really fun issue and a conclusion to what I thought was a pretty good story arc. Was it like the be all and all Superman story arc? No, but you know what? It's more enjoyable than anything we've been getting Superman up to that point, which is important. Um, and it brought the Superman family together. So, taking that all in consideration, I'm going to give Superman a 4.5 out of 5. Like I said, it could use that little epilogue of an issue. It's not going to happen, but everything else I liked, especially who is the one that saved the day. Moving on, Green Arrow issue number 18. So Komodo is on the strike. Um, he is the archer that basically beat the shit out of Green Arrow beforehand, and um, we find out more about this guy. We find out his life, what he tries to do, and we don't know why he's hunting down Green Arrow, but we find as though he has a connection to Green Arrow's past. In addition to that, Green Arrow tries the best he can to clear his name, but it's not as easy because he doesn't have his supplies, he doesn't have his tools, and basically, Stephen Trevor's saying, listen, you gotta clear this shit up within the next 2 days. If you don't, I'm sending in the Justice League of America to clean this shit up. And you don't want that to happen. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good, I love the villain in this. What I particularly think was good was the art. Is the artist that is Andrea Sorrentino, and I hope I said everything correctly, is the same artist that was on I Vampire for some time. And let me just, yeah, it's the same. artist that was on iVampire for a certain amount of time, which the art just works so well for iVampire. I was worried on whether or not it was going to work for Green Arrow, but it works so well for this. So it's the story, the writing, and the art blend well together. So great art on this. Like I said, I like the villain. Green Arrow is, I think, Jeff Lemire has a great voice for Green Arrow in this, and he comes off as a sympathetic but enjoyable character. I think this is the first time in a long time that I've enjoyed Green Arrow. Bad Zilch. For a comic that back on issue 16 was probably one of the shittiest of the New 52 comics, is now one of the best of the New 52 comics. This comic has made me love Green Arrow. Pick up issue 17 and pick up issue 18. It's great. 5 out of 5. Excuse me. We have two more, then we'll get into the rest of this video. World's Finest, Huntress and Power Girl, issue number, what are we on? 10? 10, I think? 10. Basically, this is, well, a few things happen in this. One is Huntress deals with the loss of her not brother, Damien. And Power Girl goes crazy on Michael Holtz's different locations, labs, industries, because someone is posing as an imposter for Mr. Terrific. Who it may be, we don't know. A good, bad, whether or not you should get it. As with this comic, I always say the characters interacting with each other, Huntress and Power Girl, just work so well in this. This has kind of a fun feel to it. Even though sometimes you don't know what's happening, it still feels fun. Art is really nice in this, and I do like the touching moments with the Damien reflection. I also liked Power Girl kind of just screwing shit up. Bad, uh, we do get a story in this, but the story is kind of boring. So whereas beforehand we really didn't know where this comic was going, now we kind of know where it's going. It's just kind of boring. Um, that and I would have liked to see Huntress interact with Batman. We didn't get to see that. Sorry if I spoiled something. Whether or not you should get it, I enjoy Huntress and Power Girl and World's Finest. I think it's one of my guilty pleasures, the DC universe, because it feels like that, a DC universe story. Them just hopping around and having fun. It's almost, I have a nostalgia for it. I don't know, I can't pinpoint exactly what it makes me nostalgic of. Part of it makes me nostalgic of JSA for some reason, and also Justice League International. I don't know why, because it really shouldn't, but it does. I'm just weird. On a whole, though, better issue than last. 3.5 out of 5. I did enjoy it. And I think I'm going to stick with World's Finest for the foreseeable future. And the last comic this week is Earth 2, issue number 10. So basically, Wu-Tang had taken uh, Khalif, Jay Garrick's mother, and Jay Garrick. And they have to deal with that person's shenanigans and tomfoolery because Wu-Tang, you don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I think they're transgender. So I'm just going to call them, or Wu-Tang. We get more backstory on the characters, particularly who will become Dr. Fate. Green Lantern flips the hell out, which is pretty cool. And this kind of leads into what will be the first appearance of Dr. Fate, which is nice. Bad, a lot of talking and not too much action. The comics since this first story arc is kind of taking its time right now, which is fine, but I would like to have a little bit more fast-pacedness. But that's really the only complaint I can give. Um, Whether or not you should get it. James Robinson is still crafting masterfully crafting a great universe for these characters, and I enjoy this title every time I read it. 4.5 out of 5. So those are the comics for this week. What are the three that I enjoyed the most? Well, let me pull them out. Uh, Uh, because now instead of just doing the Andrewcutter pick of the week, I'm gonna do the 3 comics I enjoyed the most this week. I got them right here. Coming in at number 3 would be Animal Man, issue number 18. Great wrap up to the Rot World story. Just great writing. Jeff Lemire doing fantastic work. Which leads into my number 2 pick, another Jeff Lemire book. Jeez, Jeff. You're doing Constantine. You're just all over the place. It's great. Green Arrow, this book has just really turned things around. I'm happy that it's doing well, and I'm kind of glad that I stuck on Green Arrow. And lastly is my number 1 Andrewcutter pick of the week. The comic you should get the most is Swamp Thing, issue number 18. Such beautiful moments in this, such a great epic finale. It is everything that Scott Snyder promised us and more. Pick it up. So those are my comics for the week. We'll go into question and answers, and we'll also go into a little news. You guys want to do news first? Let's do news first, shall we? The new Superman title that is being released by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee, like they're releasing the title, that's being done by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee, is going to be called Superman Unchained. Exactly what the Superman title is about, probably just another Superman title. But it is coming out. It's called Superman Unchained. And it's coming out 2 days before I think the actual Superman movie came out. Coincidence? I don't know. Batman and Robin is changing his title, at least for now, to Batman and ... And ... meaning like Batman and Red Hood, or Batman and Nightwing, or Batman and Batgirl. Different Batman supporting cast is going to jump on there. I'm interested to see where Peter Tomasi takes this. He's a fantastic writer, really did a great job on Batman and Robin up to this point, so we'll see how he does with other people from the Batman universe. New DC title coming out, which is Pandora. Pandora is getting our own ongoing series. I think it's Pandora Trinity of Sin is the actual name of it. Good, bad that comes from this. Good. Uh, Pandora looks like an interesting character. I've enjoyed what she's done so far, and if her comics anything like Phantom Stranger, it could be a fun ride. 2, another good is that this is another female character getting her own book. A female character that's not tied to the Batman family. So, one thing that DC does very well is it brings in strong female characters. So we'll see what happens with that. Bad, only 2 bads. One, and this is kind of my own personal bad, and then I put this with every title that comes out that seems a little obscure. Why is Pandora, a character that we know very little of, getting her own title, and Cyborg is still without an ongoing? DC, give Cyborg his own book. Come on. But that's my own little tidbit thingy. The only thing I'm concerned about is that we don't know much about Pandora, which is nice because it does give her like a sense of mystery and could be intriguing. But I mean, how would that do with comic sales? I mean, if you release a Wally West book, that thing is going to sell. At least in the early going, it's going to sell. Pandora, not many people know who Pandora is. So we'll see how it goes. I'm at least going to pick up the first 2 issues, as I do with almost all titles, and we'll see how it plays out. Because I do like Pandora, and like I said, if it's anything like Phantom Stranger, which is a fun, kinky little book that does its own little thing, I can't complain. Can't complain at all. Christian Bale might reprise his role in Justice League as Batman. This is rumor. But he said that if Christopher Nolan can find a way to make it work in the Justice League, he might just do it. What do I think about this? On one hand, I think, oh, it'd be cool. Connect the continuity of Batman to the Justice League. Let's do it. At the same time, I'm kind of saying, let's not touch that. Let's let it end the way it is and do someone new as Batman. It's not like Christian Bale blew us away as Batman. He did a good job, but it's not like freaking Kevin Conroy pulling off Batman. So we definitely need. I think we should do a new Batman. What do you think? I think. What's your opinions on this? Red Sonja is getting her own new series. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And Gail Simone is going to be writing it, and I think this is great. Red Sonja is a comic I really enjoy, but since issue like 55, it really hasn't had any momentum behind it. It just kind of been there. Actually, Queen Sonya, I think, has been a better title as of recently. So this could be the shot of adrenaline that Sonya needs. And you got Gal Simone, who is an all-star writer on this comic, so why not? One moment, my door just opened. I think my cat tried to come in. Sorry, it was my cat. But Gal Simone is an all-star writer, so I really like to see her take on Red Sonja. Anything else? Video game news. Assassin's Creed 4, The Black Flag, is available to pre-order, and I think you should. I have. And I get a free poster from GameStop because of it. It's not hanging up yet, but it will be. I'm interested to see how Assassin's Creed 4 goes. I mean, how can you go wrong with pirates? I like pirates. I like the mythology and the lore that comes with it. I say mythology like pirates never existed. Pirates existed. Probably not to the extreme that a lot of fiction makes them out to be, but still, I like pirates. Um, I like pirates so much that I actually enjoyed all four Pirates of the Caribbean film, which not a lot of people can say, but I did because it's just fun. But the Ubisoft basically said, yeah, we know where we screwed up in the previous films. We're gonna not films, the previous games. We're gonna try to fix what we did in Assassin's Creed 3 and make it better in Assassin's Creed 4. You just wait and see. Which I go like this. Good. You're learning, Ubisoft. So we'll see how that flies. I'm not even going to touch the PS4 and news about the PS4. Nothing against the PS4, but I just don't care, especially for a console that's going to be $500. Uh, and all the shenanigans that Sony's pulling, like all the shit that they're doing to their fans. I'm not a Sony fan. I respect PlayStation and PlayStation fans. I'm a Nintendo boy. Everyone knows that. But I was considering getting PlayStation until I heard all the shit that PlayStation has been pulling with like the PlayStation Network and the backwards capability and the possibility of your used games not being able to be used. But I don't know if that's still a rumor or not. I just don't give a shit. But let's talk about something I do give a shit about, and that is Castlevania Mirror of Fate. I almost said Two Fate. I got this yesterday. Basically, with Castlevania is a series that I haven't gone too far into. I played and beat Castlevania 1 and Symphony of the Night, and I played the one for Game Boy, Castlevania Adventure, I think, which sucked. I never beat it. And I've always wanted to develop more into Castlevania, but it's kind of intimidating because there's so many freaking games out there. There are a lot of games for Castlevania. But Castlevania got rebooted with Lord of Shadows for the Xbox 360, which I do have, I just haven't played yet. And the second game in the series, which is Lord of Shadows Mirror of Fate, which I'm deciding to play first, and then I'm going to do the regular Lord of Shadows. For the most part, I find this to be fun, enjoyable. I've heard some harsh reviews of it, but I've been enjoying it thus far. I think Castlevania needed a reboot. It really did. Um, Certain game series do need reboots from time to time. Example: Tomb Raider needed a reboot. Castlevania needed a reboot. Game series, however, that should never get reboots are like Assassin's Creed and Legend of Zelda. Why? Because they don't need reboots. Each game that they do is like a new story. There is connection to previous stories in the game series, but unless you look hard, you really don't need to know those previous connections. They are, on a whole, their own games. So I kind of like the fact that Castlevania is kind of rebooted itself. I'm interested to see how Lords of Shadow was. I've heard mixed things, but the majority of the negative stuff I heard from people is they say that it's just like God of War. That can't be a bad thing because God of War was pretty good. And another game that I liked that was just like God of War was Dante's Inferno, and that was a pretty fun game. So yeah, that's about all I have for news and updates. Let's get into the questions, shall we? Andrew, I started reading Aquaman and the New 52. This is from Rockley 205. I started reading Aquaman and the New 52 and love it. I was wondering if there are other Aquaman stories that you would recommend. I really want to read more Aquaman stuff. Basically, you have this option. Aquaman wasn't collected into trade as well as some other comic books, but if you want to, Time and Tide is a decent story. The Water Bearer, although you only get half the story with that. Death of a Prince is a really nice story to jump into, and if you want to get the older stuff, it's you have to be a real hardcore comic book enthusiast. But if you really like Aquaman and you want to learn everything you can about him, the Showcase Present series collects Aquaman's basically the Silver Age. Yes, it's campy, but for someone like me who is a comic book enthusiast, I enjoy it, and I think you might too if you really like Aquaman. At the very least, it'll make you appreciate what you're reading now and make you understand the transitions that Aquaman has made as a character. Um, the Geektality asks, "Are you going to do a what I am thinking on the death of you know who?" I don't have plans for it, but if enough people want to, I can. I think I basically said what I wanted to say about. Come on, everyone knows about Damien. But I don't know, maybe. Right now, no, but you never know in the future. DEC announces Damien's death to sell issues. This is Drass Clark Cog. They think that they make a big stick out of it and attract people who don't normally read comics. I don't think it works, but it is what it is. I like the issue. Yeah, you can say that, but you know what? I kind of let it slide because comic books need as much boost as it can. I just think it was handled wrong how they marketed things. I'm just responding to the thing. It wasn't really a question. Uh, guy on the guy on a buff a slag. Interesting name. New DC titles are Constantine, Green Team, The Movement, LaFreeze, Batman, Superman, Untitled Scott Snyder and Jim Lee. Young Justice and Green Lantern anime series have been canceled. Just to clarify, yes, I did ask this question. What were the titles that were coming out? I guess Pandora's actually coming in, and I heard Young Justice and Green Lantern is being canceled, which is stupid. At least for Young Justice because it's been such a good uh, comic. But thank you, guy on a Buffett leg. Uh, Eric Kozlov. Can someone whose grandpa have a LaFreeze pit? Sorry, that went wrong. Can someone whose grandpa has a Lazarus pit ever really die? No. No one in the Agul family will ever really die. I can't believe I just called that a LaFreeze pit. Rob's Rogue says Hopper Row. Okay. Oh, on who they probably think should be Robin. Uh, Travis Edwards also agrees that Hopper Rose should be the next Robin, or will be the next Robin. Michael McGregor. Andrewcutter, I'm a big fan of your videos, thank you. And I'm a big Batman fan and love Snyder's Batman. Who doesn't? What other books are worth reading in the Batman family? In Night of the Owls, I wasn't too crazy on somehow crossovers work. Someone recommended Nightwing, Batman, Robin. What do you recommend? As of right now, it's really what your tastes are. Thinking back, Nightwing is a solid title, really fun. And I'm just going to assume you're going to read issue 1 onward. I'm going to assume that. Red Hood and the Outlaws, it has been a fantastic comic. Starts off a little rocky, first 3 issues, but it really picks up and becomes a really great title. Um, if you can only get let's say 3 titles, Nightwing, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batman Robin has been really good. uh, I would recommend that, but I would say Talon. Pick up Talon also. So Nightwing, Red Hood and Talon, I think, are the 3 titles that you should probably invest in right now. All of them are pretty good, but if you're starting from the very beginning with any of them, Batman the Dark Knight starts off real rocky. It's not until recently that it gets good, around issue number 12 or 14. Uh, Nick Lenz, hey Andrew, me again. I have 2 questions this time. What's your opinion on the new costume for Golden Glider? Also, what do you think of Static Shock should get a new series? Uh, Golden Glider, is that the Flash villain? I'm gonna check that. While I'm checking that, so I don't make a complete fool of myself. Uh, no, I don't. I think Static should get his own series? No, I like Static, but this is why. Um, One is the fact that the writer screwed over the comic, but the thing is Static is a really social character, and I think Static should really be on the Teen Titans, and that's where he would shine, because he's a social character, plain flat and simple. Yeah, I was right. The Golden Glider. I do like her new costume, and I like her new look, and I like the new feel for the character. So there you go. But I really do think that he would be a lot better on the Teen Titans. Fallout 3 Freak 1. Who's the new writer and penciler on Green Arrow after Jeff Johns is leading? Oh god, I'm sorry. I completely forgot I should get you that information. Uh, I can, if you give me one moment. It's not someone I recognize, though. Maybe I can get you that information. I hope I can get you that information. What if I can't? Did I just ruin your perception of me? Let's go back this far. I'm just typing it in. Don't want to waste too much time trying to find this out for you. Here we. Think I have it here. Let's take a look. Uh, Robert Vendetti is the new writer. I don't know who the artist is going to be, but there you go. Sorry that took a little bit longer. Moving on, Fallout 3 Freak number 1 is also going to ask, which power ring would Superman, Bane, and Aquaman be wearing in your opinion? Superman would get Hope, Bane would get... What would Bane get? Not Rage. Probably either Fear or Will, surprisingly. Probably Fear, because he's kind of a bad dude, and I don't think a Green Lantern ring would go to him. And as for Aquaman, Aquaman would probably get Will. Green. Blue Lantern of 2814 has a couple things to say. I don't think Damian can come back. Necron was the one responsible for bringing everyone who died, and he was defeated at the end of Blackest Night. But unless Kyle Rayner stays a White Lantern revives him, I don't think Damian has a chance to come back. Lazarus Pit. I still think the Lazarus Pit is a chance for him to come back. That and Damien's pretty much a clone. Anyone else realize that it's like Damien is the son of Batman? What about the Leviathan? He's technically considered the son of Batman too. So Batman has two sons? I mean, should Damien be counted as a son for Batman? Did DC or Jeff Johns give a reason why they stopped the Shazam backups in Justice League? I think it was only just to finish up the Throne of Atlantis story. I think the backups are coming. Damien was my favorite Robin. Not this is Harley Quinn Larger. If I brutalize your YouTube names, I'm sorry. Damian is my favorite Robin. Not saying it just because he died, but because he was the current Robin at the time I started appreciating DC Comics. Before, I was a Marvel fan who only enjoyed Batman as a cartoon or movie character. Of course, I was skeptic about Damian as Robin at first, evil child, supervillainous, blah blah blah. But he really grew on me, especially Peter Tomeshi's Batman Robin run. Very sad to see him go, especially after reading Batman Robin's annual #1. Yeah, you like a lot of other people had him grow on you, and because of that, I think that made Damien such a great character as he grows on you after a while. Michael McGregor again asks, Andrewcutter is great that you're doing Q&As, and I love what Snyder is doing in Batman 52. To be honest, in Night of the Owls, I did not enjoy the crossovers. Interesting. I did, but I like them separate. Continued. I'm going forward. Going forward, what Batman family titles should you recommend? Someone recommended Nightwing. Oh, I already answered this question for you. You double posted, you sly dog, you. Ferriar, 38. Who would win in a fight, Batman or Spider-Man? With prep time or without prep time? Given 5 minutes, Batman. Out of surprise, Spider-Man has a good chance. No, Spider-Man would win. It really comes down to that prep time and no prep time. And what also constitutes as a fight. Because if we're not going for death battle rules, and I'm looking at you, Screw Attack, Batman would only need to restrain Spider-Man, and Spider-Man does hold back. So it all comes down to everything. Again, in prep time, Batman. Batman with 3 minutes prep time would be able to take on Spider-Man. Spider-Man catching Batman off guard, it's going to go to Spider-Man. Red Hood 444. What about Batman and Robin? What about Batman and Robin? Good question. I'm not sure. What do you mean? Comics Crusader. Did you know that the CW might pick up a Wonder Woman show called Amazon? Kind of. I knew. I knew they might pick up a Wonder Woman show. The Green Arrow show on the CW Arrow is pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, not sure about Smallville because I've never seen it. But would you mind looking for? But would you be looking forward to a 2013 Wonder Woman show? Yes, I would, because Wonder Woman is my second favorite hero. Why not? Anything to promote Wonder Woman. Who's your favorite underrated superhero? Mine is Aquaman. Underrated. Underrated. See, I don't consider Aquaman underrated anymore. I don't consider any of the Justice League underrated anymore. I would probably say Donna Troy. I love Donna Troy. She is in my top 5 favorite superheroes, and she's very underrated. That was by Noel Jones. I am Super Batman 1993. Have you seen Skyfall and Dark Knight Rises? If so, what did you think of them? I saw them both. Both were amazing. Skyfall, I think, was one of the best James Bond films I've seen in a long time, and one of my favorite James Bond films. Now, Dark Knight Rises was just simply awesome. Ben's Comics, there's a new Batman Superman title coming. Yep, already know about it. And last, Zurk Wark 24. What are your thoughts on Legend of Zelda and Wind Waker HD remake for the Wii U? Um, I'm pumped. Because, see, not only are we getting a Wii U Zelda title, but we're getting a Wind Waker Zelda title. So, a Wind Waker HD comic game to hold us over for the title that will be coming out for Zelda. Awesome. And Wind Waker is my second favorite Zelda game, so I'm pumped to replay it. Absolutely pumped to replay it. So those are the comments and the questions for this week. We did news and updates. Nothing really else to talk about. What's your opinions on the stuff we talked about today, my friends, my fellow comic book brothers and sisters? Let me know. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. It's like 7:16 where I am right now, PM, so I got to get my shit together, go down to the missus. Yeah, end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.